tuning in. This is Buy Now, Sell Now, as you know. And we have started taking viewer queries. Just a quick reminder, if you're joining us for the first time on this particular segment, if you've got a query, you've got to tell us your name. You've got to tell us the stock that you want to know about, preferably just one, and the time frame, whether it's a long-term query or a short-term query. Now, let's get started with the first one. This one's coming in on WhatsApp, and we've got Kunal Thakkar from Mumbai who wanted a view on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. Kunal, just before the break we this, so I will hope that you've got that. He's also asking Kunal about IEX, and he's wondering whether to expect or whether he can expect a target of 300 in the short term, and by that he means the next 1 to 3 months.
Well, possible, yes. I think from a 1 to 3 month perspective, there is a chance and a likelihood that IEX can outperform and come back to 300 levels. The support, and I think that's the more important part, is for the stock is closer to 240 levels or the 235 mark, which I think it had hit last week or the week prior to that. So I think that remains to be a floor or a support. If the stock manages to trade above this 235 mark, there is a stronger likelihood that it can come back towards 300 over the next 1 to 3 months.
Coming to you, actually, Justin is asking for a mid to long term view. He's holding around 500 shares of IDFC Bank at 45 rupees approximately. So, what is a reasonable target that they should be looking at, and is there a good price to average at if it comes down and if it's seeing a correction? Ashish, this one is for you.
Okay. So, what was the purchase price of investor?
45 rupees for IDFC First Bank, and it's a mid to long-term view.
Okay. So anyway, you are already in the money because stock is at 47. But in my view, don't play an IDFC First Bank for shorter term. Continue to hold this stock for at least 3 years. I see at least 50 to 75% upside is there, because whatever the worst was there is already priced in, and from here the focus of bank is to become a retail player. So but the only thing is you need to have patience for 3 years. Certainly you will make money.
This next one is also for you, Ashish, and this is Sona BLW Precision for the medium term. We've got Priyanka who said that I looked good in a Santa hat. Thank you so much. And she's wishing that our guests also wore a Santa hat, but then maybe next time, right? Ashish, what do you say about Sona Sona Precision, BLW?
Yeah, so this is again a stock from 840 levels. We have seen correction because again mid-cap stock in last 1 month has seen some cooling off. But fundamentally, Sona is really a very good company, and in my view, if this should be again part of your portfolio for longer run, and it will certainly be 1,000 rupee mark you are going to see in this stock maybe by March or when the March quarter numbers come. So remain invested here, or in fact, those who don't own this stock, 660, 675 are very good level to accumulate this stock.
Kunal, the next one I have is for you. Tarun is actually asking, how should one play the bullish and bearish RSI divergence with respect to the trends? Any take on that?
So interesting. I'll probably take bullish RSI divergence, and then the vice versa of it is what you can probably infer on the bearish RSI part. So what you have to typically look out for is how different have been the price lows relatively. So for example, if a stock makes an initial low of 100, it bounces back towards say 110, and then comes back and makes a low of say 98, 99. I would not call that as a big divergence, because the prices have to go substantially lower. So if the prices, for example, come back to say 94, 95, or maybe below that as well, that could be called as a strong indication that the prices have made a new low for themselves. And in that same time span, because the prices have managed to extract themselves another 5-10% downside on an average range, you need to see the strength in the RSI, and then if the RSI makes a higher low relatively, because then you have a buffer that the prices have gone to an extreme sell-off and the RSIs have still managed to hold on to themselves. So there's always a chance of a mean reversion from those points. Very typically find RSI divergence on the bullish charts. You keep the previous or the second previous low as a stop loss once the prices starts to turn around. and keep the first previous swing high. So for example, if you take a trade at say 92, 93 levels, then keep 100 as your which was the initial low as the first target range for RSI. And if the strength develops on the RSI yet again, then we expect a strong trend in the making. So you have to take it in two stages. First is the previous low becomes the first target, and the stock manages to cross above that as well. Then we expect a start of a new trend coming out into the stock.
Trading 101 from Kunal Bothra. Friday seems to be the day to do this. Kunal, we should make a habit of this. Thank you so much for giving us that explanation. This is for you though, Ashish. SBI Cards. You've got Vijay, who's bought at levels of 1050, and he's losing a little ground right now, but he's saying that he can hold for the long term. Should he do so? Should he buy more at this stage?
No, I think as such, there's nothing wrong with the stock except some profit taking which has happened of late because the stock has given good return. So my suggestion will be to remain invested because again, there's a company which is operating in a niche space. Second, there's no comparison now is still available for a card-to-card company. And third is the way digital money is taking place and the more and more transactions are happening by card. The future look quite good for SBI Card. In my view, even you can add more in this stock at this price.
And Kunal, the next one is actually coming in for you. And Harsh wants to invest right now. Now he's looking at a couple of stocks and he's saying which one should he pick for a 1 year time horizon. Federal Bank, Bandhan Bank, Axis Bank, or should he be looking at IndusInd Bank? Which one would you prefer?
Well, I think if you give me a choice, I'll probably pick out the fifth one, which is ICICI Bank or maybe an SBI at current levels, because there's always prudence to invest in quality when the market gets into a tough kind of a zone or a volatile kind of a zone, because it's always a quality which managed to first resurrect, and even if the market extends this period of volatility, say for another couple of months, there's always a case and a chance that ICICI Bank and SBI can stand to outperform. So on one hand there is a risk reward play, on the other hand there is more of stability which has to be given a part in terms of the trading strategy. And given the market circumstances, rather than risk reward, you have to look out for safety at current juncture. So I would not pick out the four options which you've highlighted, but in fact if you're looking at highlighting or looking at some other banking names, then definitely ICICI Bank and SBI would stand tall in various market circumstances.
We've got Pintu Prasad from Siliguri who's writing in, and he's asking about Tata Power. I believe there are others also that are looking for a view on this, Ashish. I'm not really sure at what level he's got in, but he's holding, and he's wondering, should he continue to hold for the long term?
Yes, Tata Power is now no more a short-term bet and is a long-term stock idea always. In fact, all power stocks are like that only, that you need to hold for some time. And again, triggers are their foray into EV charging stations as well as solar. Now they are one of the biggest EPC player as far as home solar is concerned. So fundamental wise, I don't see any issue. Only thing is, as most of the retail investors got stuck up in this stock at top end of the cycle. So this is the reason why on every rise, some or other are, traders are booking profit. That is why stock is not going up. But in my view, fundamentals are quite robust. And if you can continue to remain invested at least 1.5 year, you will see 300 also.
Kunal, we have a couple of queries coming in for Tata Power. Now they want the technical and 1 year term view is what they're looking at. So one is from Ashish as well as the other one is from Vikash, and they're asking, what is it the right time to enter Tata Power, and with a 1 year view, what do you see coming in for there?
So my sense is that even if the prices are consolidating, I would still expect that it can get to a corrective phase going forward. I believe a better price range to enter Tata Power would be around 185, 190 odd mark for the stock, even though it's almost 10% higher from those zones. But my sense is that the stock would probably get below the 200 mark. And typically what happens is when the market or when a stock gets into a corrective phase in an overall market scenario, it tends to break those psychological marks and psychological supports along the way. So 200 has been a good psychological support for Tata Power. My sense is that by the time maybe the markets get into a further correction zone, Tata Power should come below the 200 mark. So 185 to 190 could be a good range where you can look to enter.
All right, sticking to the Tata Group, Ashish, this next one's from Thomas V. George, and he's writing in from Kerala, and he's asking about Tata Elxsi and Tata Com. Between these two, which would be the better pick for the long term?
I think Tata Communication I like to go with at this point of time, because in my view Tata Elxsi has already given very good appreciation in last 1 year, but Tata Communication has still to move. And another thing is the way the revolution which is happening in communication and wireless communication, etc. Tata Communications tend to gain a lot from that. The valuation of Tata Elxsi are quite rich compared to Tata Communication. So my target for next 1.5 year in Tata Communication is 2,000 rupees. I'm very bullish on Tata Communication at this point of time also.
Okay, Ashish, I'm actually going to come in for you because we have a long-term view queries, a lot of queries on that side as well. So, in the real estate space, actually, Chaitanya is actually asking which is a better real estate play, whether they should be directly looking at companies like Kolte Patil and Prestige, or would you be playing the proxy side, which is Century Ply, Polycab? What do you find more interesting in terms of these two sectors?
Yeah. In fact, my number one bet as far as this sector is Century, which I have mentioned also, because this is again a company which is developing projects in Mumbai, Bangalore, and NCR now. And they are not having any major debt also in their book. So Century Textile is a very good bet in this sector. Another stock which I again like from this particular sector is...
We might have lost Ashish's feed. Ashish, if you're back with us, what were you saying about the other stock that you liked from the sector?
Yeah, this I like is Oberoi Realty. In my view, the kind of selling volumes are there in Mumbai real estate market, and post this correction which has happened into realty sector, Oberoi Realty is going to be my pick number 2. And one small cap, if you allow me to add in realty space.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm very bullish as far as now MTNL is concerned, because this is a company where now government is disposing almost all real estate which is parked in this particular company, which is part of their 37,000 crore revival package for MTNL VSNL. So you will see a lot of cash flows coming in by selling of real estate in MTNL in this particular year. So in my view, MTNL can be bought with a price target of even 45 to 50 in next 6 months.
What kind of a move has it had over the last month or so? This is the spirit of Christmas, I think, Ashish, not just one, but 2 bonus stocks and stock ideas that you've given today. But I'm going to come to you, Kunal, on this next one. We've got Aarti, who's got Dollar Industries. And she says that she's lost quite a bit of ground in this recent correction. Should she hold on? She says that she lost about 12%.
I think definitely hold on. It's a good chart. It's developing quite well. Again, last 15-16 months, it's done pretty well, from 100 rupees to 450, 460, where it tested a few weeks back. And now it's getting into a correction consolidation zone. Look at the outperformance of the stock relatively. It's still holding above its 200 moving average, even in this last 1.5 or 2 months of the market correction. So that's a sign of strength and outperformance. Would suggest to hold.
Okay, Ashish, coming to you, Manoj Kumar is actually asking in terms of CDSL, is it the right time to enter this stock? How are you seeing it?
So again, CDSL, BSE, CAMS, these kind of stocks have really given very good return in last 6 months. But now valuations are quite rich as far as these stocks are concerned. So for timing, I'll avoid any fresh purchases in this stock. In my view, just wait for another 10% kind of correction in these stocks, then they'll make good buy, but not at current prices.
One last question before we head into rapid fire. Okay, all right. It's 32. Let's hit the rapid fire segment. Gentlemen, you know what this means. You have to keep your answers as short as possible, as crisp as possible. Let's get started. The first one's from Vishak, and he says that he wants a view on persistent systems for 5 to 10 years. Ashish, should he get in?
Surely. Very good stock, consistent performer. Buy.
Kunal, Azma is asking about Birlasoft. Should she book profits, hold? What are you looking at?
I would suggest to book profits, and if you're looking at re-entry, 450 would be a good re-entry point.
Okay, Heranba is the name of the counter. Ashish, if you have a view, we got a viewer who is, I don't know who this is, but holding Heranba at I'm not sure what price, asking whether to average the stock at this price.
No, unfortunately, I don't track this stock actively, so I'm not able to comment.
Okay, SRF, the name of the counter, bought at levels of 2350. This is Deepak from Gandhinagar. Should Deepak add at this point, Ashish?
Yes, you can add. Recently, there was an anti-dumping duty also imposed on their product, and in my view, it's a good value buying at this price. The stock may touch 2,500 maybe next month or so.
Kunal, Shelja is asking whether she can buy a TCI Express at the current price for a short term.
I think it's run up extremely high. Indicators are deeply overbought. I would suggest to wait and the stock cool off towards at least 2,000. That would be a better level.
Kunal, Vodafone Idea, Dr. Gopesh is asking whether it can be bought at this level.
Not really. I would suggest to wait for maybe another drop towards 12. 12 could be a good level. If the stock comes closer to that point, should be a buy.
Okay. Ashish, Lakshmi from Kolkata is asking whether she should hold, sell or average Jubilant Pharmova.
In my view, you can exit, and instead of this, I'll recommend to buy Gland Pharma. In my view, after a long consolidation phase, this stock has started giving good returns. So swap it with Gland Pharma.
Ashish, last question. Maruti Suzuki bought at levels of 7,500 by Denny. He's in the UK. He's wondering whether to hold on for the long term.
Yes, you can continue to remain invested. Next quarter is going to be very good for Maruti. So you will get good return there.
Okay, with that, we are absolutely out of time on the query segment this time. But we'll be back with more on the other side, and we're going to slip into a very short break. So stay tuned in.
आने वाली खुशी के लिए एक ख्याल ही काफी है। इबिक्स कैश हर खुशी के लिए काफी है।